answer.
I didn't say it was the answer. I think what our struggle would be, Dana, is that we want to fashion a world that's a bit more fair to us and a bit more equal to us. We don't have to follow the Mosor route. It's just so nice to see this alternative and how it upends everything we know. Therefore, we can question what we have, what strictures we have, and how do we then change that, don't you think?
Yes, thank you. And the saddest part of it was hearing about your, was it goddaughter? Who, coming from such a strong matriarchal background, who eventually succumbs to the patriarchal system. And that is where it's really sad. I think you're right, that the lesson that we can take away from your experience and your story about this community is that we should know that there are different ways of living and conducting our lives. And we still have to work towards that happy, well, you know,
medium.
Yeah, that every individual has to be respected, has to have their dignity, have to be allowed their joys, you know, and I hope we get there.
Yeah, I hope so too. Constance, where are you? Constance Singham. Where are you, Constance? Has she left? All right. Okay, we are not going to let John Whittaker get away with it. He gets to ask one question.
Are you ready? First of all, congratulations. Wonderful book, wonderful subject, and we're comparing it to life here in London, where I come from. It's also very different. So why are you still here?
I'm going back in 2 weeks' time.
Is that it? I think, do you think there are more questions? You want to spend more time doing this?
No, I think, let me sign those books that haven't been signed.
Your niece has a question.
Oh, okay, my trusty or IT person.
So basically, do you feel that like monogamy versus, like, how do you feel about monogamy versus, for example, polygamy or serial monogamy? Like, do you think it's a social construct or like socially ingrained versus, you know, each person has their own calling? Because the way the Mosors seems to be something like a serial monogamy, or the idea of a walking marriage.
Actually, I think this is so fun a question. I think it's more serial. It could be serial monogamy or it could be serial polygamy among the Mosors. And definitely not, what's the only one? What do you call that? Monogamy. It's not, monogamy is not really trendy in Nuku Lake, you know. Did you ask me what I think as an observer or what do I think personally? Oh, open my perspective. I've never believed in monogamy anyway. Although many of my friends here might disagree with me, right? And that's really, it is a social construct. I think, I mean, why do I say that? Because in our society, we think monogamy must be it, right? But in Moso society, in fact, if you were monogamous, you're probably very boring and we don't want to hang out with you. Okay, so to them, their social construct is polygamy. It is the odd one out in the old days that they only had one asya, one lover all their lives. I mean, gosh. I mean, he's kind of fat, isn't he? Can't we change, you know? So you see a living community not celebrating monogamy, and they've existed for thousands of years. So it is another social construct, isn't it? I think it is definitely a social construct in our society. But I probably have to ply you more with Prosecco to convince you that you don't have to be monogamous.
Can I just ask one? Is there anybody else before I jump in and ask one last question? Okay.
Yes.
Get ready. You ready? So you've talked about monogamy and sort of love and social constructs. I mean, as a past sociologist, my question is really more about what the impact is on the behavior of the Muslim people themselves, what they believe and how they act, and therefore what happens to them. And the direct question is, it is often said that patriarchal societies, because of men, produces violence. Okay? I want to know how much or how little violence you saw or heard about or talked about in the Muslim village that you went to.
Okay, I think within the family, I don't hear much of violence within the family. After all, anyway, the men Asias are not even living at home. So if they try to beat some Asia up in their matrilineal home, guess what? The whole matrilineal family will just descend on him and beat the shit out of him, right?
And what about the younger brother or something in the family?
Sorry?
The brothers in the family.
Yeah, no, the brothers will defend their sisters, you know what I mean? So domestic violence, I think, is not that, because after all, grandmother will just give you a dagger look if you dare to, hurt your sister or something, or that's the end of you. You don't get dinner tonight, right? In society at large, men with a testosterone, right, do get into fights. I mean, I've seen fights, and usually they are drunken brawls, and they just fight just because they're drunk, right? I haven't seen women cat fighting. I haven't. I think not having. Are you paying attention, Dilip Naya?
Oh yes, very much. Rapt attention. I think
not having domestic violence is, obviously very good, and it works in a family setting that listens to the woman, and the woman has a say, and the women don't go around beating the men up either, you know what I mean? Because the power play is different. The power play we have in a matrilineal, matriarchal setting is that grandma has the most power, and then you better respect the women in the house. So it's a different power play. And it's all about power play, because in the old days, not today's world, right? The economic power, as Marx would have it, is within this matrilineal family, because they own the means of production and all that, right? The grandmother and the daughters, there's trouble coming here next to me, okay? My friend Patrick Lowe. But the means of production were in the hands of the women, okay? So they had power, and with power is how family life pans out. And I would really suggest we don't entertain any question from Patrick, or we do? There we go. My favorite friend, actually.
Thank you, 马场阿红。他的名字是马场阿红。现在在驻外后呢，在那边马场阿红。OK， 我有两个问题，一个是代表我的朋友，他们叫我问你，你没有在那边呢？有没有走过？你分几次？所以这是第一个问题。第二个问题就是关于这个摩梭这个 tribe 它是怎么样会形成这个 matrilineal society？ 是摩梭的 是不是因为那边的莫斯男孩子比较懒，不做工，或者去打仗？打仗的时候，他们的女儿、他们的太太都去做工，那回来就没有工作，所以从那时候开始就变成依靠女孩子、女人的天国，是不是这个原因呢？谢谢。
我的 Geneva 的朋友们走了吗？你们还在吗？I think half of you can understand this one， 因为他说普通话，我也必须要回。普通话。他第一个问题，他问我走婚过吗？走了几次呢？我的回答是，我算不起了，老大。
哎呦，详细的讲。要怎么样呢？我们来这边的目的是要详细的了解你的走婚的社会是怎么样走的。
闭嘴！啊？闭嘴！第二个问题呢？第二个问题就是你说他们怎么会变成这么样的社会？我认为呢，世界开始的时候就是母系社会的，因为几千年、几万年以前呢，我们人类就是靠妈妈出生的，对不对？生命就是妈妈出来的，所以可能第一个文化就是母系文化。那过了这几万年呢，那些怎么说呢？就是打仗的那些男人的社会就过来打仗就what is it kill 了，就杀死这些。最早的文化就是最早母系社会的文化，但是在摩梭呢，可能他们逃避到这个高山里面，所以就没有人take the mic away from him because he's going to continue asking questions, please. 那就所以他们还存在。
Last question. It's more interesting, isn't it?
Take it away from Patrick. Patrick Lowe, my friend, who is unending, and we always never finish our conversations, right? Just as it is now.
No, you see, the evolution of societies is always from polygamy to monogamy, right? Poly to mono. This is the opposite. I don't know how it began, but it becomes poly for the ladies, and I don't know for guys. I don't know what it became, but anyway, it is the opposite direction. Usually it's from poly to mono.
Only if you have a straight line view on evolution, my dear.
No, I don't. Anyway, I've given enough trouble to her. Thank you.
Thanks. Hey, guys, I don't know if there's any Prosecco left.
I think on that note, let's carry on drinking.
And I'm here to say.
Separate conversations. Thank you very much for your time.